announce.
I gave it a spark, and now you wanna try and kick me out of the park. Well, I ain't going quiet, I'm saying it loud. My mission is to stop you and completely shut you down.
Smack, runner, you're nothing but lies. Smack, runner, with weak alibis. Smack, runner, your game is through. Smack, runner, I'm talking to you.
Like the garbage that gets sent to the dump. You and your whole crew are nothing more than some chumps. It's time to take you out and kick you straight to the curb. My mission is to silence you and keep the game pure.
Smack, runner, you're nothing but lies. Smack, runner, with weak alibis. Smack, runner, your game is through. Smack, runner, I'm talking to you.
to shut you down and expose your game. My mission is to take you down and level the playing.
Smack, runner, you're nothing but lies. Smack, runner, with weak alibis. Smack, runner, your game is through. Smack, runner, I'm talking to you.
Inconsistencies will always keep you on the run. Your cowardice and greed will always take away your fun. Yeah, I ain't backing down, so you should know this fact. My mission is to stop you and erase your smack.
Smack, runner, you're nothing but lies. Smack, runner, with weak alibis. Smack, runner, your game is through. Smack, runner, I'm talking to you. Smack, runner, you're nothing but lies. Smack, runner, with weak alibis. Smack, runner, your game is through. Smack, runner, I'm talking to you.
Till I gave it a spark, and now you wanna try and kick me out of the park. Well, I ain't going quiet, I'm saying it loud. My mission is to stop you and completely shut you down.
Smack, runner, you're nothing but lies. Smack, runner, with weak alibis. Smack, runner, your game is through. Smack, runner, I'm talking to you.
Like the garbage that gets sent to the dump. You and your whole crew are nothing more than some chumps. It's time to take you out and kick you straight to the curb. My mission is to silence you and keep the game pure.
Smack, runner, you're nothing but lies. Smack, runner, with weak alibis. Smack, runner, your game is through. Smack, runner, I'm talking to you.
Your skills are weak and incomplete, it's really a joke to think you can get over me without getting smoked. It's time to shut you down and expose your game. My mission is to take you down and level the playing.
Smack, runner, you're nothing but lies. Smack, runner.
ways will always keep you on the run. Your cowardice and greed will always take away your fun. Yeah, I ain't backing down, so you should know this fact. My mission is to stop you and erase your smack.
Smack, runner, you're nothing but lies. Smack, runner, with weak alum.
Hey, folks, I'm speaking specifically to my YouTube audience right now. I know you guys have been sitting there for a while waiting for the show to begin, and I apologize. Facebook seems to be blocking the Liberty One broadcast right now. We're trying to get a workaround, and if this feed happens to shut off, watch, because it's coming right back. And so watch your notifications, and we'll get back to you just as soon as we can. And I apologize for this this short delay, but we'll get to it just as soon as we can get that feed rolling on Facebook.
You don't talk about at parties. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Keep that frequency clear.
And now it's conspiracy. See, they've made that something that should not be even entertained for a minute. That powerful people might get together and have a plan. Doesn't happen. You're a kook. You're a conspiracy buff.
You're watching The Truth is Viral, the only news program on the internet trusted to deliver the truth since 2008. And now, here's your host, Mr. Bobby Powell.
Welcome back to The Truth is Viral on the Liberty One Network. It's Wednesday, September 26th, and my name is Bob Powell. Oh boy, folks, we've got a lot to get through today, so let's just get to it. This woman right here, Julie Swetnick, is accusing Brett Kavanaugh, Donald Trump's nominee for the Supreme Court, of organizing gang rapes. And a series of them, up to 10 gang rape parties that Brett Kavanaugh was supposed to have organized. And it's just ridiculous. The president was giving a press conference just a little bit ago, and I'm sure that not a lot of you have seen it yet, but let's go and take a look at what he said, his response to these ridiculous allegations.
Please.
Mr. President, there are now 3 women accusing Judge Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct. Are you saying that all 3 of those women are liars? Is there anything that could be said at this hearing tomorrow that could cause you to withdraw the nomination? Anything at all that...
I won't get into that game. I only tell you this. This is one of the highest quality people that I've ever met. And everybody that knows him says the same thing. And these are all false to me. These are false accusations in certain cases, and certain cases, even the media agrees with that. I can only say that what they've done to this man is incredible. What is going on? Why did they wait so long? Why did Senator Feinstein wait till the hearings were over and make this case? Why didn't she bring it right at the beginning when you ask about, as an example, the FBI? Why didn't they bring this right at the beginning, during the hearing? You would have had all the time in the world for the FBI. It would have been fine. Now, the FBI, as you know, did investigate this time, as they have 5 or 6 other times. And they did a very thorough investigation. But this is a big con job. And I would love to be in the room with the Democrats, close the door. You guys are all away outside waiting. And Schumer and his buddies are all in there laughing how they fooled you all. Let's just stop them. A big fat con. 36 years. No charge, no nothing.
But everybody, that happens often. I mean,
people are going to have to make a decision. 36 years, there's no charge. All of a sudden, the hearings are over, and the rumors start coming out. And then you have this other con artist, Avenatti, come out with another beauty today. I only say that you have to look at the facts. The senators are very capable people. They're very good people. I know many of them. They're friends of mine. These are very talented, very good people. And they're going to vote. They're going to have to believe what they believe.
First of all, do you think these women, all 3 of them, are liars? Yes or no?
Have they been what?
Are they liars?
I can't tell you. I have to watch tomorrow. I have to read. I just heard about one a little while ago. I can tell you her lawyer is a lowlife, okay? So I can't tell you whether or not they're liars until I hear them. I don't know what happened today because I've been very busy with Japan, with South Korea, with China, and about 7 other countries, as you know. And I chaired the Security Council. So I don't know about today's person that came forward. I do know about the lawyer. And you don't get much worse, bad reputation, to take a look at his past. So as far as the other women are concerned, I'm going to see what happens tomorrow.
It sounds like what you're saying is there is a situation, there is a scenario under which you would withdraw Brett Kavanaugh's nomination. Is that correct?
If I thought he was guilty of something like this, yeah, sure.
And you will wait until tomorrow to make up your mind?
I want to watch. I want to see. I hope I can watch. I'm meeting with a lot of countries tomorrow. Which one? Which question?
How have your personal experiences being accused by more than a dozen
I've been accused.
women
I've been accused. False accusations.
Right.
Excuse me.
How have those...
I've been accused. And I was accused by, I believe it was 4 women. You can check with Sean Hannity. You can check with Fox because they covered it very strongly. Who got paid? Excuse me. I was accused by 4 or 5 women who got paid a lot of money to make up stories about me. We caught them. And the mainstream media refused to put it on television. They refused to even write about it. There were 4 women, and maybe more. I think the number is 4 or 5. But one had a mortgage paid off her house, $52,000. Another one had other things happen. And the one that reported it, I believe, was offered $750,000 to say bad things about me. And she's the one that reported it. This woman is incredible. She reported it instead of taking the money. So I've had numerous accusations about me.
Right.
They made false statements about me, knowing they were false. I never met them. I never met these people. And what did they do? What did they do? They took money in order to say bad things. I've had stories written in the New York Times front page about 4 women, the whole top center front page of the New York Times. I think it was 4 big pictures. I said, wow, that's a big thing. What's that? These were women that were quoted saying bad things about me. Not the worst things about me, but bad things. And I said, gee, that's too bad. I knew them a long time ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I said, that's too bad. I'm surprised at them. And then all of a sudden I see them on television, nothing to do with me. The next day or day later, they were incensed. They said, Donald Trump is a nice guy. We never said this. The New York Times did false reporting. They're fake news. And you know what? The New York Times would not report that their story was fake. These women said great things. Not only did they not say the bad stuff, they said great things about me. Front page. And those women, they're incredible women. They went on television, and they didn't want to, and I didn't ask them. And they said the New York Times made it up. They gave false quotes. And they went on a lot of shows. They were really incensed, and they couldn't believe it. That's why people know that a lot of the news is fake, and a lot of the people sitting here are fake. But 20% of them are wonderful, okay?
If I could just actually ask
ahead,
my question,
please.
Mr. Trump. You didn't let me ask my question.
You've
My
been asking a question for 10 minutes. Please sit down. Please, go ahead. Go ahead.
How did those impact your opinions on the allegations against
Well, it does
Judge
impact my opinion. You know why? Because I've had a lot of false charges made against me. I'm a very famous person, unfortunately. I've been a famous person for a long time. But I've had a lot of false charges made against me, really false charges. I know friends that have had false charges. People want fame, they want money, they want whatever. So when I see it, I view it differently than somebody sitting home watching television where they say, oh, Judge Kavanaugh, this or that. It's happened to me many times. I've had many false charges.
President Trump is right. The people that are going to lose out on this the most are legitimate victims of sexual violence. These accusations that are being made by these three women are so outlandish, without any shred of proof. Who's going to want to come forward now? Who's going to believe the next person that comes forward that actually was raped or sexually assaulted? The Democrats are doing a tremendous disservice to the women of this country. And we're going to talk some more about Julie Swetnick. We're going to delve into her past, and I'll give you some more information about who's paying these people to make up these garbage lies. I'll be back in 60 seconds.
I'm Pete Santilli, and you're watching The Truth is Viral.
Do not click away. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Yeah, folks, please support our mission of saving lives and winning souls for Jesus Christ in these very last days by going to bobpowell.blogspot.com, hitting that PayPal button, and donating whatever won't put you out. You can find that link in the video description below. Now, we're going to talk about this woman, this Julie Swetnick. This is the most recent accuser sent by the devil himself. And when I say the devil himself, I'm referring in this case to Michael Avenatti. This guy is a real piece of work. They call him creepy porn lawyer, and there's a good reason for that. He is a creepy porn lawyer. His case with Stormy Daniels is about to be thrown out of court in California. And so he's trying to reclaim his 15 minutes of fame and extend it out a little bit. He's even said that he wants to run for president of the United States in 2020. This guy is a nutbag. And worse than that, he's an evil nutbag. He's getting these women out there to spread these vicious lies, and their stories don't even make sense. He's just doing what mainstream media has been doing for a long time, and that's just making sensational headlines. Nobody ever reads the body of the copy in the story itself. They just read the headline. It's a sensational headline. Brett Kavanaugh organized gang rape parties, and the sheep believe it. He says, "This is a picture of my client, Julie Swetnick." This is Michael Avenatti, the creepy porn lawyer, talking. "She's courageous, brave, and honest. We ask that her privacy and that of her family be respected." Dude, if you wanted her family and her privacy to be respected, why did you put her face and her name up on the internet? Because I guarantee you that everybody is looking into her background, including me. And I found some interesting stuff, and I'm going to bring it to you in just a minute here. But anyway, Michael Avenatti sent a letter to the Senate this morning when he released his BS claim that this woman had been gang raped at a party, and that Brett Kavanaugh and his friend Mark Judge were the ones that were spiking the punch and getting women inebriated so that they can't fight back and all this other bull stuff. Let's take a look at this. He sent this letter to Mike Davis, who's a representative on the Judiciary Committee. He says, "Mr. Davis, I simply do not understand why there's been no response to my emails below for Monday. This is an urgent matter that deserves your immediate attention and that of the committee. Time is of the essence, and we renew our request in my emails below. In addition, attached, please find a sworn declaration from my client regarding the allegations at issue. We demand an immediate FBI investigation as previously requested. Please respond to my emails of Monday as soon as possible. Regards, Michael." Ugh, this guy's a scumbag. Okay, let's take a look at this statement by Julie Swetnick. It's probably too small for you guys to see, so it's not too long, so I'll read it to you here real quick. "I, Julie Swetnick, declare as follows. My name is Julie Swetnick, and I am a resident of Washington, D.C. I fully understand the seriousness of the statements contained within this declaration. I have personal knowledge of the information stated herein, and if called to testify to the same, would and could do so. I'm a graduate of Gaithersburg High School in Gaithersburg, Maryland. I presently hold the following active clearances associated with working within the federal government: Public Trust, U.S. Department of Treasury, U.S. Mint, Internal Revenue Service. I have also previously held the following inactive clearances: Secret, U.S. Department of State, U.S. Department of Justice, and Public Trust, U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Customs and Border Protection. My prior employment includes working with A, Vietnam War Commemoration, Joint Services Providers, U.S. Department of Defense in Arlington, Virginia, U.S. Mint, U.S. Department of Treasury, U.S. Internal Revenue Service, U.S. Department of Treasury, Government Affairs and Communications Department, D.C., Department of General Services, Government of the District of Columbia, Customs and Border Protection, U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and the U.S. Department of State. I was also one of the first 100 women in the world to achieve a Microsoft Certified System Engineering certification. Well, good for you, sweetheart. This woman didn't work for the government. I'm going to expose that lie right now. She was a contractor. She designed websites That was the extent of her involvement with the government. She was not a government employee. And, well, I can't say that her secret clearances, I can't comment on her secret clearances because number one, I don't know that they truly exist, and but I can comment on the other clearances that she had for the public trust and the Department of Mint. As long as you don't have a felony, you can get a clearance to work on those projects. But let's continue with this garbage. I first met Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh in approximately 1980 to 1981. I was introduced to them at a house party that I attended in the Washington, D.C. area. I observed Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh as extremely close friends during the early 1980s when I knew them and interacted with them. I would describe them as joined at the hip, and I consistently saw them together in many social settings. There is no question in my mind that Mark Judge has significant information concerning the conduct of Brett Kavanaugh during the 1980s, especially as it relates to his actions towards women. Following that first introduction, I attended well over 10 house parties. Now, folks, listen to this because I'm going to comment on this extensively. I attended well over 10 house parties in the Washington, D.C. area during the years 1981 to 1983, where Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh were present. These parties were a common occurrence in the area and occurred nearly every weekend during the school year. On numerous occasions at these parties, I witnessed Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh drink excessively and engage in highly inappropriate conduct, including being overly aggressive with girls and not taking no for an answer. This conduct included the fondling and grabbing of girls without their consent. I observed Brett Kavanaugh drink excessively at many of these parties and engage in abusive and physically aggressive behavior towards girls, including pressing girls against him without their consent, grinding against girls, and attempting to remove or shift girls' clothing to expose private body parts. I likewise observed him to be verbally abusive towards girls by making crude sexual comments to them that were designed to demean, humiliate, and embarrass them. I often witnessed Brett Kavanaugh speak in a demeaning manner about girls in general, as well as specific girls by name. I witnessed Brett Kavanaugh behave as a mean drunk on many occasions at these parties. I've been told by other women that this conduct also occurred during the summer months in Ocean City, Maryland on numerous occasions. I also witnessed such conduct on one occasion in Ocean City, Maryland during Beach Week. That just happens to be one of the calendar days that Brett Kavanaugh released. He had an entire week blocked out called Beach Week, and the very next day, she comes out with this accusation. Well, back to her claims. I have reviewed Brett Kavanaugh's recent claim on Fox News regarding his alleged innocence during his high school years and lack of sexual activity. This claim is absolutely false and a lie. I witnessed Brett Kavanaugh consistently engage in excessive drinking and inappropriate contact of a sexual nature with women during the early 1980s. During the years 1981 to 1982, I became aware of efforts by Mark Judge, Brett Kavanaugh, and others to spike the punch at house parties I attended with drugs and or grain alcohol so as to cause girls to lose their inhibitions and their ability to say no. This caused me to make an effort to purposely avoid the punch at these parties. I witnessed efforts by Mark Judge, Brett Kavanaugh, and others to target particular girls so that they could be taken advantage of. It was usually a girl that was especially vulnerable because she was alone at the party or shy. I also witnessed efforts by Mark Judge, Brett Kavanaugh, and others to cause girls to become inebriated and disoriented so they could be then gang raped in a side room or bedroom by a train of numerous boys. I have a firm recollection of seeing boys lined up outside rooms at many of these parties waiting for their turn with a girl inside the room. These boys included Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh. In approximately 1982, I became the victim of one of these gang or train rapes where Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh were present. Shortly after the incident, I shared what had transpired with at least 2 other people. During the incident, I was incapacitated without my consent and unable to fight off the boys raping me. I believe I was drugged using Quaaludes or something similar placed into what I was drinking. I am aware of other witnesses that can attest to the truthfulness of each of the statements above. I declare under penalty of perjury and under the laws of the United States of America that the foregoing is true and correct. I have executed this declaration on September 25th, 2018. What a load of crap. I don't know what we're going to do with this. That's so utterly unbelievable. I mean, let's think about this for a moment. So, Swetnick graduated high school in 1980. In 1982, as a college student, an adult, she was attending high school parties with 15 to 17-year-old boys, Brett Kavanaugh and Mark Judge, where druggings and gang rapes occurred with regularity, and she didn't report it. She said that she saw these parties going on and the rapes and the drugging going on, and all she can do is to try to avoid the punch herself. She never once thought about contacting a parent or contacting the police in order to report these crimes. This is by her own admission. She went back to these parties 10 separate times. Now, do you remember I've told you about the psychological theory of projection, where people take their own sins and cast them onto others? She may very well have been raped. She may have been a willing participant. As disgusting as it is to think about, young women have been known to like sex with multiple partners. And maybe she's feeling guilty about that. Maybe this did happen at some point, but I guarantee you it didn't happen with Brett Kavanaugh and Mark Judge. Folks, I had the benefit of going to private schools. I received the best education that this country could offer. It wasn't an Ivy League school, it was a military school. And a private prep school in Florida, in Palm Beach. And let me tell you something. Guys don't do that. Not guys from this level of society. Like, say, for example, 2 guys are about to get into a fight. Two these well-heeled guys. They'll trade insults with each other. They'll puff up their chest to get into each other's face. But neither one of them wants to swing the first punch. And do you know why? Because they don't want to be sued. Oh, yes. When you reach that level, it's all about money. Money and power. Now, these are some of the most powerful people in the world, the people that, that went to these high schools and colleges. Georgetown has produced some of our country's most, I'm not going to say best leaders, because a lot of them have turned out to be scumbags, but our most prominent leaders, we'll put it that way. Okay, now, she goes back to these parties 10 times where she sees drugging and rapes occurring. She doesn't report them to the police. Doesn't tell a parent about them or a teacher. She doesn't bring this accusation forward until 37 years later, after the Senate hearing. Does anybody believe? I'm looking in the comments in the Liberty One chat room and on YouTube. Does anybody believe that this is happening? That her accusations are true? I certainly don't. These other two women, Christine Blasey-Ford, who's going to be testifying tomorrow, and by the way, I'll be carrying that testimony live on YouTube, and as soon as Pete's done with his guest on Liberty One on Facebook, I'll be joining him, and we'll be collaborating and giving analysis. But yeah, make sure that you go to my YouTube channel. That link is also in the description below. And you can watch these hearings live with me. I will have a big bag of popcorn. It's going to be great. That's assuming, of course, that this woman shows up. That's not a guarantee. Because she did not want to be questioned by anybody but the senators present on the Judiciary Committee. And now it turns out that she's going to be questioned by one of Maricopa County's finest sex crime investigators, a woman who knows how to speak with victims of sexual abuse and perpetrators, knows how to get to the truth. They didn't want her to be questioned by a woman, the Democrats. Because now they can't accuse the male members of the Judiciary Committee of sexism or insensitivity. That was a brilliant move by Charles Grassley, getting this woman in there. So yeah, Christine Blasey-Ford, every single one of the people that she proffered as witnesses have said it either didn't happen, they weren't there, or there were no parties like she described. And the other woman, Debbie Ramirez. Well, she's just a Looney Tune. She doesn't even bring any kind of proof or evidence to the table. Remember, I like to have a little bit of fun with this, folks, because if you get too serious about all this nasty garbage, it's really straight from the devil, and you got to be serious about fighting it, but you can't get so into it that you lose yourself. Because it's very true. Where did it go? Yeah. I'm gonna keep on showing this to you because, like I said, it's very true. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not himself become a monster. Because if you gaze long enough into the abyss will gaze back at you. And you really don't want that. You don't want to become the monsters that you're fighting. And we can still fight without becoming monsters. Like this woman here. She's a monster. She's not altogether bad looking. Got a pretty smile. But she's a monster. She's a filthy, lying monster. And we're going to get back into her in just a minute, but I wanted to show you this. This is kind of funny. This is from the United States Space Force. That's a picture of Christine Blasey-Ford photoshopped onto the Cat in a Hat. I will not testify in a car. I will not testify near or far. I will not testify in a train. I will not testify in a plane. I will not testify here or there. I will not testify anywhere. I will not testify first or last. I will not testify slow or fast. There's nothing more for me to say. I can't remember anyway. Can you tell I've had a little bit of experience reading books to kids? I love my kids. Now they're all grown up and out of the house, and I only get to see my grandkids like every other weekend. It's oh well, I guess that is the price that we pay for living. That's the circle of life. Okay, let's go back to the year 2000. Miss Julie Swetnick. You ready for this? In the year 2000, remember she's a web developer, the Web Trends Corporation sued Miss Julie Swetnick for defamation. Oh, yeah. The Web Trends Corporation, represented by David P. Symes and Margie Hooter, sued Julie Swetnick for defamation, and this is sealed. This is all the information that I can get from it. It was not subjected to arbitration. They just closed the case. But there are no details. I cannot find the details of the criminal complaint or the civil complaint against Julie Swetnick. And like her predecessors, Christine Blasey Ford and Debbie Ramirez, all of her social media accounts have been scrubbed. All of them. Even her LinkedIn. Gone. There's very little information out there about this woman, except that she likes to party. Now, not even the New York Times is taking her accusations very seriously. Remember in the Trump video, Donald Trump took after the New York Times for being fake news. Of course he did, and of course they are. But some things are even too outrageous for the New York Times to believe. Let's see what the New York Times has to say. Judge Brett Kavanaugh was accused on Wednesday by another woman of engaging in sexual misconduct at parties while he was a student at Georgetown Preparatory School in the 1980s. The allegation came from Julie Swetnick, 55, who, like Judge Kavanaugh, grew up in the Washington suburbs. In a statement posted on Twitter by her lawyer, the creepy porn lawyer, Miss Swetnick said she observed the future Supreme Court nominee at parties where women were verbally abused, inappropriately touched, made disoriented with alcohol or drugs, and gang raped. She said that she witnessed Judge Kavanaugh participating in some of the misconduct, including lining up outside a bedroom where numerous boys were waiting for their turn with a girl inside the room. Miss Swetnick said that she was raped at one of the parties and she believed she had been drugged. None of Mrs. Swetnick's claims could be independently corroborated by the New York Times, and her lawyer, Michael Avenatti, creepy porn lawyer from the devil himself, declined to make her available for an interview. Of course he declined. He doesn't want a journalist, even a fake news journalist, to get anywhere near this story. It's all bullshit. Pure, unadulterated bullshit. The only people that are believing it are the Never Trump resistance. And those people are out of their freaking skulls to begin with. Trump derangement syndrome has to be real. You know, I've never deleted a real-life friend off of Facebook because of their political views, although several have deleted me. And it's tough to try to bring the truth to them when they won't believe it, when their hate for Donald Trump blinds them to truth and logic. They'll believe the statements made by this woman. They'll accept it as gospel without conducting any kind of research into her claims whatsoever. They'll believe that this adult went to teenage keg parties or punch parties or whatever kind of parties they were, saw girls being drugged and raped, didn't call the police, and kept going back 10 times, promising not to drink the punch herself. That defies all logic. It makes no sense whatsoever. And we saw from the court case I just showed you that she's got a history of making defaming statements. Why would she do this? Who knows? First off, she's obviously mentally ill from Trump derangement syndrome. But maybe her web business isn't doing so good anymore. Maybe Michael Avenatti's promise of, we'll set you up a GoFundMe, and you'll get $500,000 just like Andrew McCabe and Christine Blasey-Ford. $500,000 goes a long way to assuaging the guilt of a liar, a sociopath. I don't know. Personally, I couldn't live with myself. I don't care how much you pay me. I couldn't tell a lie like that. I couldn't. This is not about lying for me. You know what? Here's the way I think of lies. And I'll be honest with you. When I first got married to my wife in 1992, 1992. Been a long time. I didn't always tell the truth. It wasn't necessarily that I was doing something bad, but I'd learned growing up with my mom, who was tyrannical in all things. By the way, this is her birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. She's passed away, but happy birthday to her anyway. And my daughter, it would be her 28th birthday today, but she's gone too. But my mom was tyrannical growing up. So I always felt that it was better just not telling her what I was doing. Like I said, it's not necessarily that I was doing anything wrong, just that whatever I was doing was wrong in my mom's eyes. And that kind of carried over for a little bit in my first marriage. But I quickly learned within a year that no matter what you do, telling the truth is the best option. Because, number one, when you tell the truth, you don't have to remember what lies you told before, right? And you have to make up more lies to cover up those lies. That's just a vicious cycle, folks. And so for the last 30 years, it's always been my philosophy to always tell the truth, because you can get forgiveness for doing something that you want to do, even though somebody else didn't want you to do it. But one thing that you cannot regain, or it's very difficult to regain, is trust. Especially when you betray somebody that you love. But I don't think this woman has any fears of that. I think she's just looking for a payday and hoping that she can stop Donald Trump from getting another conservative judge on the court. Because this is a real problem for the Democrats, folks. Ruth Bader Ginsburg has one foot in the grave already and the other on a banana peel. I'll bet you. I'm pretty certain that before Donald Trump's term in office ends, he will have nominated another Supreme Court justice and possibly a fourth. And this is scaring the Democrats to death because they want to keep on killing babies. That's where they get their power, by sacrificing our children on the altar of Moloch. The blood of 61 million children since Roe v. Wade was upheld. Blood's power. And devil's not above anything. He will lie. He will cheat. He will steal. He will rape. He will murder. And I don't put anything behind these people or beyond these people. They're just really disgusting. Now let's take a look at our story. I'm gonna bring up a article here that shows 7 really bad inconsistencies with her story. I think I've probably already covered a couple of them, but what the heck? Let's do some more. I'm going to go about 10 minutes over tonight because we were a little bit late getting started, and bring you as much information as I can. Okay, so this is from the National Review. 7 questions about the Avenatti-Swetnick story. Given the seriousness of these allegations, this is number 1, this is their first question. Why did Michael Avenatti and Julie Swetnick decline to go directly to police? The second problem, likewise, why did Avenatti and Swetnick bypass the press? Now remember, I told you that even the New York Times wouldn't touch it. They asked, did anyone in the press look into this story? What did they find? The New York Times confirms that none of Mrs. Swetnick's claims could be independently corroborated by the New York Times, and her lawyer, Michael Avenatti, declined to make her available for an interview. Why? Number 3, where are the witnesses? The charge is of gang rape. Leave aside the question of whether Brett Kavanaugh was involved, and forget for a moment that we're debating whether he should be on the Supreme Court. Surely, there are a whole host of victims, perpetrators, and witnesses to this monstrous crime. Where are they? Is it not a little strange that there are only 2 details provided, and that they happen to be public knowledge already? The 2 names given are Mark Judge's and Brett Kavanaugh's. The time given is Beach Week, which is listed on the calendar that Brett Kavanaugh released this morning. Why is there nothing new? Question number 5. According to the New York Times, Swetnick left school in 1980 and then went on to college. Swetnick claimed that she attended at least 10 house parties in the Washington area from 1981 to 1983, where the 2 were present. That means that at the time of the alleged incidents, she was between 18 and 20 years old at the least, and that Kavanaugh and Judge were between 16 and 18 at the most. So why was she, an adult, attending high school parties with minors? Number 6, Kavanaugh says that he had never heard of the Accuser. Is there anyone who can testify to the contrary? If so, how did they meet? What relationship did Kavanaugh have with her school, Gaithersburg High? Swetnick claims that she met Judge Kavanaugh and Mr. Judge in 1980 or 1981. Why did she, an 18 or 19-year-old, start hanging out with Kavanaugh and Judge, who were 15 or 16, depending on the year? Why would an adult repeatedly go to parties at which minors were being gang raped, and having figured out what was going on, resolve only to avoid the punch? Did Miss Swetnick tell anybody what she had seen? Why did she keep going back? See, folks, this story doesn't make any sense at all. None whatsoever. And I think that normal people of goodwill, people that still have a brain, know how to use logic, see this. And I certainly hope they remember how despicable the Democrats are when it comes time for the midterms. It's a little over 40 days until the midterms. If you're not yet registered to vote, get registered. We're at war. They're not taking any prisoners, folks. And that means we can't either. Rule 4 of Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals is use your enemy's playbook. I happen to agree with that. Politics is a blood sport. And you can't be fair. Not when the stakes are this high. Not when the future of the Republic is at stake. I compare politics to war. And as a Marine, I detest war. I detest politics too. But my philosophy on going to war is this: don't do it unless it's absolutely necessary. And by absolutely necessary, I mean absolutely necessary. But when you do go to war, you go to war to win. No rules of engagement. Take the muzzles off of our troops. Political and military. They've been trained for a day that they prayed would never come. I think it's time to raise the black flag and to politically, not literally, mind you, but politically, start slitting throats. They're taking no prisoners, neither should we. President Trump and the Republican members of Congress need to fire a broadside at these bastards and keep on firing until all resources are spent. Leave nothing left of the Democratic Party but a smoking ash heap and a bad taste in your mouth from the memory of it. They've totally lost their way. And instead of coming to the center to try to reach some kind of accommodation with the Republican Party, they've gone further to the left to the point where they're damn near communists. Yeah, I think Joseph McCarthy was right. We had communists in our government in the 50s, and their children went to college in the 60s, and a lot of them infest our government today. They need to be weeded out. And more than a few of them probably need to be charged with treason and, if found guilty, hung from the nearest yardarm. I've seen a lot of stuff that proves that the Democratic Party, Barack Obama included, have been involved in a seditious conspiracy to undermine our republic. And these people need to be held accountable. So what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there at your computer, give us a like and a comment and a share, and that's it? No, it's not enough. We are at war for the very soul of this republic. And it's time to stand up and fight. We got into this predicament because we didn't want to offend anybody. So they chipped away at everything that made this country great, little by little, until we're left in what can only be described as the first days of the Civil War. They took God out of the schools in the 60s. And people wonder why our kids are killing each other. You know, I remember going to high school when I was a kid. Some guys would come to school with a rifle in the rack of their pickup truck. Instead of locking down the school and calling the SWAT team, the principal more likely to come out and say, "Hey, that's a pretty cool rifle. What's the range on that thing?" They sold dynamite at the hardware stores. There wasn't a rash of bombings. Our culture has changed dramatically in my lifetime. And it has not changed for the better. So because we were too afraid to stand up to this neo-communist agenda that has infected our schools and our political institutions, these Marxists have pretty much gotten their way, little by little. It's the boiling frog syndrome. You drop a frog into a pot of boiling water, he jumps right out. But if you turn the temperature up just a little bit at a time, he stays in there until he boils himself to death. Well, this frog's jumping out. And I need you to join me and the rest of the Liberty One hosts and your fellow Americans that still remember what the words honor and duty and country mean. We have to stave off a real shooting civil war politically by stiffening our spines and acting like a grown adult men and women. I don't care what they say. Facts trump feelings. I'm sorry if this thing or that thing hurts your feelings. You need to grow a set of balls, maybe a little thicker skin, and quit crying like a damned little baby because you didn't get your way in an election. We had to watch for 8 years as Barack Obama tried to destroy this country. Did everything he could. Gave money to terrorists. Generated racial hate where it had once been almost eliminated. Black Lives Matter, chanting, "We want dead cops." We didn't have any of that before Barack Obama. But we suffered through it. Well, now they can suffer through Donald Trump. I'm just sick. I'm not another inch. Not another damned inch. So we need to fight. You need to start making phone calls, and I mean tonight and all day tomorrow, to all of the senators that are still iffy on the appointment of Judge Brett Kavanaugh. I want to show you something here, folks. They're all over it. Look at this picture of Dianne Feinstein cornering Lisa Murkowski in the Capitol basement. Look at that body language. Feinstein looks like she's about to kick her ass. Although she'd probably break a hip trying to do so. But just look at the look on her face. Let me see if I can pull that up here a little bit closer. That's just ugliness. That's vicious. If you haven't yet subscribed to me on Twitter, I'd appreciate it if you do so. I've got to kind of go under the radar these days. I have a handle @buddy0353. And I want you to, when you first get there, I want you to watch this video. It's called Eric Ludy, The Gospel. Matter of fact, I'm going to play it right now. I'm going to go ahead and take a couple extra minutes and I'm going to play this. Because, folks, it is inspirational. It is absolutely inspirational, and you need to see it. Let me just set this up here for a moment. Give me just one more moment here, please. Okay. Looks like I'm running out of time. They're cutting me off. I'll share it with you next time. But yeah, we're going to fight these monsters. And we're going to win. And I need your help to do it. I literally need your help to keep the lights on. YouTube's demonetized nearly all of my shows. I'm getting like zero income from The Truth is Viral. And there are so many things that I would like to do. I'd like to be in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. But I can't because I'm broke. So you can actually watch with me with running commentary. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Eastern, I will go live. Probably about 10 minutes before 10. I'll go live and we'll watch this shit show. And don't forget, if you have the ability, I need you to go to bobpowell.blogspot.com and hit that PayPal button. Help me save lives and win souls for Jesus Christ in these very last days by bringing the truth to those who desperately need it. So, I guess that's it for tonight. I will see you again on Friday. Remember, it's Red Friday. Remember, everybody deployed to wear a red t-shirt and honor our men and women, our brave servicemen and women that are on foreign shores in harm's way. So, yeah, thank you for watching The Truth is Viral. My name is Bob Powell. And as always, God bless, Semper Fi, and hoorah. I'll see you Friday night. Well, actually, I'll see you in the morning. And then again Friday. Night, folks.
Thank you for watching The Truth is Viral with your host, Bobby Powell. Make sure to follow The Apocalypse on Twitter at The Truth is Viral. Like The Truth is Viral on Facebook, and if you can, please remember to donate to the cause via PayPal at www.bobpowell.blogspot.com.
Smack, runner, your game is through. Smack, runner, I'm talking to you.